discussion of like the topic, and I'll try to do it kind of quick depending on who needs to leave. Or is your mom picking you up?
Yeah, she's scared because she thinks the tornado is
Yeah, so...
Oh, is this serious? Is this tornado where?
Yeah, we're under a tornado warning.
Yeah, so in case...
It's fine. There's no windows in my house. It's perfectly safe.
So in the case that it does get bad...
Not really sure.
Just, you know, we'll just play it by ear. But the lesson
all hide
today...
under mattresses and bathtubs. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm with doing that. I'm just hiding in the closet.
Sorry.
We'll all get in one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're here for us. I feel like God would.
Yeah.
We'd be like the only house standing.
Like it's just like...
It'd be like a great testimony, you know?
Okay,
Stories about this.
Alright, so I'll kind of start out giving you guys a quick little story first. So I had to go to this dinner one time for, it was for this college thing, and there was this guy named Clint Bruce who was the guest speaker, and he was a Navy SEAL, and I mean, he's this huge guy, and he got up and was talking. It was the speech or the dinner was for the Naval Academy, and he went to the Naval Academy, so he was talking, he was getting up there, and you know, usually when you go to those things, everyone tries to convince you to go to whatever college it was. But he like took a whole other spin on it, and he got up there and he started out by saying, "I'm not going to stand up here and try to convince you that the Naval Academy, and you can fill in whatever colleges that you guys want to go to or whatever you want to do in your life. So I'm not going to stand up here and try to convince you to do whatever it is, but I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to call you to do what it is you have been set up, like what God has created you to do." So his entire speech was based off of whatever you do in your life, do it because you're called to do it, not because someone convinced you. So basically what he did is he talked about basically how all the decisions in your life, you want to base them off of, you know, that inner gut feeling and that, you know, the faith that you have in Christ. Because what he says is that whatever you end up doing in your life, it's probably not going to be really easy. So there's going to be definitely struggles and there are going to be hardships. So you're going to need that like faith and that that calling to really get through those things. So the lesson today is based off Proverbs 20:24, and I'll read that to you. "A man's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand his own way?" So I'll say it again. "A man's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand his own way?" And the way this relates is, whenever we're deciding, I mean, and for me, I'll say another story in a second, for trying to decide what college to go to, like in these kind of decisions, we don't know what we're going to end up doing. I mean, no one can say, "I'm going to do this when I get older." You know, we all talked about what careers we want to do, but we didn't say what careers we will do. Coach T said he was going to be a kid. That'll probably happen, but no. The idea is we don't know what we're going to do, so it comes down to how are we going to figure out and when are we going to figure out. And I think when it comes down to like everyone knows like you have that weird inner feeling that kind of pushes you sometimes, but sometimes it goes against what like logic would tell you to do. A lot of times that happens in, you know, everything, especially with prom coming up. You know, it might not, you know, all your friends are doing something, and it might not necessarily be, you know, a horrible thing, but you have that one thing inside of you saying, you know, don't do it. And if you follow that, then, you know, you're letting God just kind of do what He wants with you, and that's like what He is calling you to do. He's calling you to turn over your life, not knowing what's going to end up. I mean, so with the college thing, for me, I got accepted to Harvard and West Point. It's a big decision because if you go, you know, one path leads you to like a military career, one it's totally different. So my big dilemma lately is trying to figure out, you know, what am I called to do? You know, I can be convinced to go to either one. You know, there's a bunch of perks. You know, you go one route, maybe you're going to have this career with a lot of money and a lot of prestige. The other one, you might there's, you might be able to do, who knows, just depending on whatever it is y'all are going to do. But when it comes down to it, what God is giving each and every one of you, I don't know what it is. Look at that and pray about it and try to figure out how is He going to use you. So in my case, I think going to a military academy gives you a chance to serve a lot of different people and gives you a chance to give back. So in my decision, I'm probably going to go with West Point, not just because the college is free, but because I think a lot of times when you go to a service academy, it trains you to be a better leader, and you have the opportunity to help a lot more people than I would otherwise. And the last verse I want to read, which is totally irrelevant to what I was talking about, but it's a good verse, and I circled it. So, yeah. If a man shuts his ears to the cry of the poor, he too will cry out and not be answered. So, one more time. If a man shuts his ears to the cry of the poor, he too will cry out and not be answered. And it just kind of goes along with like helping others, like whatever you do it to help others. So I guess it does kind of relate, but a lot of times it's so easy to get caught up in like our own lives. And I was talking to some of the, on like these college reception things. There's a lot of ways to just like get a bunch of money. Like it seems like when you go into the world, there's going to be so many things we can do. Like right now, we don't have the opportunity to go get a career because we're still in high school. But when we do, we're going to be getting money, and you're going to be able to do whatever you want with it. So just like remember that we're given that money for a reason. We're stewards of God's kingdom. It's like all little pieces that we're given, whether it be your talent, your money, the house you have, all that kind of stuff. So, if you hear the cry of the poor, then the Lord will also hear you. But the discussion I really want to talk about is when I read the verse about Proverbs 20:24, and it said, "A man's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand his own way?" How do you guys see like what you wanted to do in the past, like maybe in middle school, and where you are now? Is there anything that like has changed in your life that you think you were going to do something and then now you're not? Or nope. Like anything. It could be anything about that. I mean, you want to start? Yeah, good.
When I first went into middle school, I was like all into football, of course, and I took it really seriously. I worked out every day and put most of my time into it until I got to senior high. And I started seeing everyone else taking AP classes and getting ready for school, for college, and I was taking honors classes, but not, the advanced classes. And I had to make a choice. Something told me that I had to pick between something that I want to do and something that I have to do. It's a necessity. And I chose school, of course. It's more important, and my grades went up so high after football, and I miss it, but I know it's good for me. It's good for me, so.
Awesome.
I don't want to interrupt, but whoever the last person came in with the red Jeep,
That was me.
lights are on.
Yeah, I know. I've been waiting for like a pause in like the discussion so I could go.
So we're gonna wait on her. Should I stop the video?
I think mine changed from being playing for the Cowboys to owning the Cowboys. that was a big leap for me.
That was a big.
I think like also God, that saying like He opens one door and closes another, and I think it's so. Okay, that's really weird.
This is gonna go upside down. I'm pretty.
He does that in like family situations where you think like you have all this money and then He takes it all away, and you're like, oh God, but why did you do that? And so He opens this one door and He says, I have something better for you, and He puts me in public school or whatever. And so it's just like something that I thought I was going to have, and then He changes something drastically, and it's like turned out so much better. So I think like just opening a door and then seeing like there's more out there than just this other door. It's like, that's what I see.
My like plan for my life has changed like dramatically. 'Cause back whenever, I mean, I'm a type 1 diabetic for those of you who don't know that, and I was diagnosed whenever I was like really little, so I've had it my entire life. And so naturally, I was like, I'm going to be an endocrinologist, which is like a diabetes doctor, and I was like, that's going to be super great, and it's going to be awesome. And then as I got older, I was like, man, I really don't want to go to medical school. No. I really don't want to go to medical school. So then I was like, okay, what else can I do with my life? And I was like, I can be a history teacher. I like history. And then I was like, I don't think I can deal with kids all day, every day. So then it changed to, I kind of like combined the two, and I was like, diabetes educator. Whoa! Mind blown. And I've like then decided actually that I was like, well, no, instead I can go into marketing. I'm good at selling things. And then it turned out that I applied to A&M super late, and the business school was full. So instead of going into marketing, I changed my major to nutritional science. So I'm back to being a diabetes educator. And I've prayed a lot about it, and I think that it's kind of a God thing that he was like, well, you were on the right track, and then you kind of swerved, so I'm kind of putting you back here. Because I realized that, like, through, like, being a diabetes educator, I'm the first person to come in contact with the family, like, after they've been diagnosed. And so I'd be the person that's helping them through, like, one of the most, like, dramatic and, like, life-altering things in their life. And it'd be a way for me to, like, kind of minister a little bit, like, be able to, like, share my story and how, like, my faith has been the thing that's helped me through that. And I think that that's, like, where God wants me. For me, it's like both my siblings went to the Air Force Academy, so I thought, I was like, how cool would that be, Mom, for like all your kids to go through the Air Force Academy? Like, that'd just be so cool. And my brother's like, he's like this huge Army guru, like he's like top in his class, and like he's just an amazing kid. So of course I have to follow in his footsteps, and it's like, so that means I have to be the nurse, I have to be the doctor in the Air Force, like, and I have to go overseas and serve people in the Air Force, and then. It turns out I got 4 concussions within a year, and if I say that and tell that to the Air Force Academy, then they're not going to want me in there because I won't be able to go through the flight simulators and pass, basically. So, so when my brother came back home from Iraq, like I had this huge heart for the Arab countries in the Middle East, and I really just threw myself into God, like, I don't know what to do, like, I can't go to the Air Force Academy anymore, like, I don't know what to do, and it was really, my pastor talked about missions one day, and I just threw myself into that, and ever since then, I've had, like, this, like, foundation of, like, I don't know if that's where I'll end up, because if he changes my path, then I'll accept it, but right now, it's, like, being a missionary in the Middle East is, like, my passion, my love. So, like, I went from being, like, wanting to be this doctor to then ending up getting this huge gash in my head and realizing I get nauseated every time I see another gash. And so, knowing I couldn't be a doctor and also couldn't go to the Air Force Academy because I got that. And so, it's been a hard thing because I felt like my parents would be upset. They are actually really accepting, and my brother and sister were like, you would not make it through. we don't want you going there. And so my parents, I didn't think my family would be supportive of it, and they're actually really supportive of it, and so that's just been really nice. And then also God's, I think, he put me on this new path where I just have this huge passion for it.
I guess I'll go. My parents, like, ever since, like, I was little, like, they were asking us, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? I remember, like, when I was, like, in elementary school, everyone was like, oh, I want to be a rock star, I want to be an astronaut, kind of thing. I was first thing. And then, for a while, then I thought I wanted to be, like, a lawyer like my mom, and I was like, oh, she's, like, really successful, like, she may not, like, love it, but, I mean, she's able to, like, provide for, like, my family and stuff. And then, like, I thought I was, like, people, that's what people, like, kept telling me to do. They're like, okay, do this, like, and I was like, okay, well, if everyone's telling me to do it, might as well do it. And then it's just kind of, like, over the past couple of years, like, I've gone through, like, with my hearing issue, obviously, and then, like, I had heart surgery, not as bad as her, but I've had heart surgery, and, like, my brother, like, had, like, this huge, like, medical fiasco thing, and it's kind of, like, I realized it's, like, it's what I love to do, and it's, like, I feel like whenever I'm, like, helping other people, like, it's, okay, I feel like
it's 8 o'clock.
Too, and I feel like that's like me like helping other people is like what I'm like best at, and like I love like studying
do that
the
anytime.
anatomy of the heart. So I think that's like I like went from like doing what other people told me to do to like what I want to do. So. But yeah.
I mean, for me, I've always wanted to be a pediatric cardiologist since I was, I don't know, 8. An 8-year-old saying they wanted to be that. But I guess it's just because I've been around it since I was, my first surgery was like 4 weeks old or something like that. Like, I've just always been around it. So I decided to keep up with it, and I want to help kids and, like...
So you want to be on the other side of it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to be on the other side of it, because I don't like my side right now, but,
Are there like big decisions that like y'all know, like you had that gut feeling and you just decided to go ahead and see if it was like the right feeling? I mean, I know sometimes I'll like have like you have that faint voice in your head and you're like, maybe this is God talking to me, but maybe it's not. And then have any of you guys ever just like had those experiences, or is that just me?
God only talks to Jonathan.
Anything specific?
Wait, what was it? Sorry,
Like you have a decision to make, and you're trying to figure out what it is, and you have that gut feeling. You don't know if it's like you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's like the right thing pushing you, or if it's like maybe Satan or whatever it is, and you just decide to go with it, or...
Well, see, like, I think, just because, I don't know, I think I've seen some of you go to my church, but I go to Watermark, and I have a pastor named JP, and he always talks about this, and I brought it up with the door, like, opening, and he almost, he says this thing where it's like, God opens all of these like things for you, like whether it's like college or a job, and so let's say you have like 3 colleges and they say, okay, I'm going to give you full ride to all 3 of these colleges or whatever. That would be incredible, but anyway, so like you have this opportunity and there's no like right or wrong. It's like wherever you go is like where you praise me and where you live for me, and it's not like there's this right or wrong answer. And I feel like that's a lot of our decisions in life. It's like there's a lot of things that we have to make, and it's not necessarily like a right or wrong. It's just like I can pick whatever, and then there's like a consequence to that or whatever. And God will use you through that situation. So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
What happened to me was it wasn't really like it was more like because I just joined DECA. You know what DECA is? It's like business type thing.
The cookies.
Yeah.
They got
It's
cookies.
like an actual.
You just bake, right?
I am doing that. I actually do cook the cookies in the morning, by the way.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, every Wednesday I wake up at like 5 o'clock.
Where do y'all make the cookies?
Miss Cannon's room. There's like 10 ovens that are about that big, 3 trays, it's whatever. Alright, so like, I just like...
Sorry, we didn't mean to.
No, dude, don't worry. Yeah, I just like decided to join it. I forgot how. I think my sister said something, then my brother said something. I was like, alright, then I'm going to join DECA. And then Miss Cannon said something about, oh, you should do competitions. And so I decided to do sports and entertainment marketing. And then like after the first event that I did it in, I won districts for that, and then I won state, and now I'm going to internationals in Atlanta, Georgia for that, and that was like a huge like, I didn't even know like, cause like there was never like another thing that was going against it. It was more just like, I just felt like, it wasn't like to do it or not to do it. It was more like I think God just like, kind of like told me to do it, and then I was just like, okay, and then I just like did DECA, and then like did competitions, and then I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, or that's what I think I'm supposed to do right now. So yeah.
What do you like compete in? Like, how do you compete in DECA?
So what happens is I have to take a test on my. I have to do a marketing cluster test, and so I have to like do 100 question test, and I have to get a certain grade on it. And then I go to the competition thing, and at the competition thing, they give you a scenario, and you have to treat it as if it's like it's like in the actual situation. If you like go off topic, you're automatically disqualified and everything. And so my first one for districts is probably my favorite. and it was like there's like a new up and coming like minor league baseball team called the Beagles, and like the manager wants to like is at like a town hall meeting, and he wants like to know like what he wants to say and how you're supposed to promote them, and like basically like I'm like the marketer for their team, and he's just coming to me for help, and so I have to basically do a sales pitch. I have like 15 minutes to like write down whatever I want, and then I have to do a 10-minute speech to them, pitch, and then I have to like, and then they grade you, and then grade your test, and then they average that, and then yeah. It's pretty intense.
Good job, bro.
Thank you.
Anything else? We'll split into small groups. We'll just actually let's do 2 mixed gender groups. So
Yeah.
where else can we go?
I mean, boys and girls.
In that room back there, and then one here, or
We're done. This is over.
Yeah,
Good night.
guys.